Welcome back to Water Park Rangers Let's Play Kingdom Hearts. Last episode, we defeated Guard Armor after he turned into Opposite Armor. Then we defeated Opposite Armor and sealed the keyhole at Traverse Town. That being said, our quest is really just at the beginning, as we finally realize that our goal is to in fact find all the keyholes, all of them, and seal all of them. So we're going to have to do that by setting off to the next Ring of the Worlds. But before that, I believe that we actually need to have some stuff done with gummies, unfortunately. So that involves paying a visit to Sid. Now, I'm not entirely sure if this is entirely necessary, but I just want to make sure that way I don't backtrack needlessly. Even if I have played through this before, like, as a test run, I still do like to make sure that I'm not missing on anything crucial. So, Sid, what have you got for us? Hey, now that was quick. Now, you know I'm in the gummy block business. Working on your gummy ship sure was great. Come again and I'll give you a big discount. Oh, Comet-G, we're never going to use that. Okay, cool. Special as in worthless, I'm assuming. Hey, you got another navigation gummy there, eh? I'll bet you want it installed. Yeah, please. Looks like this is another one of those blocks that come in sets. You gotta find the mate to this one. Alrighty then, I guess that's as far as we can navigate for now. This should have opened up a new Ring of Worlds to explore. I think the only way you can get there is via a warp hole on the map. Oh yeah, in addition to that, speaking of warping, Sid gave us the warp drive last episode. I think, yeah, you're finally going to get to see it in action for the first time here. Oh right, they're just talking about the games are finally underway, but that doesn't matter. See how it says normal drive in green? Well, for places that you've already been to, you can toggle the option to warp drive there. In purple, make sure you do this for every place you've already been to, because who wants to sail through that unspeakably shitty gummy ship course again? I sure as hell don't! So just like that, you get a single cutscene. And there we are, Olympus Coliseum in a heartbeat. And you don't have to go through any kind of obstacle course if you've already cleared and gotten to the world at least once. The Warp G is an incredibly handy feature, so it's good for you to get it as soon as possible. That's why some people really do prefer to do Deep Jungle before Olympus Coliseum, because it means you only have to go in a single lap, instead of backtracking and doing routes over again. For me, I just like to keep up and follow the order that they set in terms of battle level. I haven't mentioned this before, but each world has, I don't think I've mentioned this, each world on the world map has some stars next to the name. The more stars there are, the higher level opponents you're going to face there. Oh, exactly what level I'm not sure, but the whole point is, generally speaking, you want to clear them in the order of stars in which they appear. But like I said, you're allowed to do them basically in any order, as long as you're fulfilling the events that need to be fulfilled. In other words, like, you wouldn't be able to get to the next Ring of Worlds unless you did the events at Traverse Town with Opposite Armor. That's one of the points in the game that opens access to the next Ring of Worlds. Okay, now let's get started with, oh yeah, and for the record, I'm pretty sure you could, if you really wanted to, I don't know why you would do this, you could do the Coliseum first, then Deep Jungle, and then finally finish off in Wonderland before going to fight Opposite Armor. But anyway, we should focus on things that are actually happening, and one of those things that is actually happening is the Fill Cup, the first of the games that we've entered here at the Coliseum. Heroes are coming from all over to participate in the games in the Coliseum. So the Fill Cup is the easiest of the official cups. Obviously, each one's going to get progressively more challenging. However, you shouldn't really underestimate it. I know it sounds crazy, and I'm definitely going to look back on the Fill Cup and say, well, that was incredibly easy. But I actually have died a few times on the Fill Cup. Even at this proper level, you do want to make sure that you have Cure equipped. I prefer to have Cure equipped as a hotkey on square. The reason for this is often I'm dodge rolling as a way to avoid attacks, particularly when fighting bigger, more challenging opponents like bosses. Or for even fighting things like these. For the record, these are just the feet that belong to Guard Armor. But what's weird is during the Fill Cup, and I think it's only during the Fill Cup, but I'm not certain. But I think that during the Fill Cup, this might be the only time where you randomly fight just Guard Armor pieces that fight by themselves, without a full boss. And they're called, like, bits of... The whole thing itself is called Red Armor, but for some reason you're also allowed to fight just random parts of their body, which is, I find, unspeakably strange. Also, the word unspeakably is just unspeakably fun to use. So this would have been the 4th time I've used it this episode. Oh boy, magic alert. yeah, so what can I say? Right, since you're rolling around a lot, well, this is what I prefer to do. I know a lot of people prefer to have it on triangle, for some reason, but... Oh god! See, I just saved myself. I could have died right there, but I healed. This is why Cure is so useful, because typically when you're fighting, you're going to be getting back your magic anyway, so it's like a good constant restorative. You don't have to worry about running out of it like potions as much. Of course, my general playstyle is to focus most of my magic into healing. For the most part, I do use it for combat, but I think I start doing more of that a little bit later on. Maybe by the next world, we'll start seeing me use more magic, I'm not sure. Oh, so basically, yeah, I've been skipping over this strategy for a while. I prefer to have it on square because, in addition to dodge rolling, I like to have it on the same button. So it just makes a nice, easy combination. You don't even have to change. All I have to do is hold down one button for a hotkey. And it just makes a very smooth transition from dodging into healing. It might not sound like much, but it makes a lot of difference to me. There are especially some points in the game where, strangely, it seems like your hotkeys will flip out at very inopportune moments. There's only one instance, or two, that I can really think of this happening, and they're both for optional fights, which are very difficult. And it's very unfortunate that they occur then, but in interest of not really spoiling things before I show them, I'm not going to go into anything. Also, one thing that I think I'm going to start doing for all the Coliseum matches is giving each of the names, like, for each match. I'm going to do the No More Heroes thing, and actually recite each name in the creepy, shadowy voice. You'll see what I mean next time. Well, this time, because as soon as the next match starts, I'm going to do it. Indomitable. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get better at it though. It's gonna be freaking awesome because there are gonna be a lot of Coliseum matches we're doing. For the record, the Phil Cup is completely optional, as are the rest of the cups. As soon as you do the preliminaries, actually, that's pretty much all you have to do in that world. In fact, I think you're actually allowed to skip over all of the Coliseum. I'm not certain. I think you might be allowed to skip over all the Coliseum. Maybe you have to do the preliminaries, but besides that, you never have to come back here unless you want to. I come back here because number one, it's a good source of EXP, and number two, there's a keyhole to be sealed here. You can't do it. You can't get that keyhole unless you participate, and defeat enough of the cups or the challenges or whatever you call them. And because each of them ramp up in difficulty, you might as well do them all. To my knowledge, they all become revealed over time, even if you don't complete them. For instance, the next cup up will have become available if we didn't. Oh crap! I think I forgot to give it the, oh no! I forgot to do the cool voice! Oh well, it didn't come out that cool anyway. But I promise that for the next cups and stuff, I'll be more consistent with it, because it's gonna be interesting. Or at least it'll be entertaining for me. Entertaining for me, because I need to be entertained as much as possible, seeing as I've seen an unpleasant amount of Kingdom Hearts in recent days. Just for all the times that I've played it, all the times that I've had to commentate on these episodes and do co-commentary, sometimes even doing commentary again, I really have been on a Kingdom Hearts overload. It's kind of sad to say, but I'm going to be glad to see this end. Oh boy, this is not sounding good, especially for an episode this early on in the LP. But I keep telling myself it's going to get better, because I know the game gets better, and then hopefully, when it gets better, it'll be more fun to commentate. Shadow Battalion. Oh boy, an actual red armor. Full body, but with no limbs. He has no limbs! You know what that makes him, guys? A Crippletron! Oh my god! Finally, for the first time ever, I have managed to make the Crippletron joke. The problem with a Crippletron is that typically it has to refer to a large number of objects that form a bigger one. So maybe we'll find a part in the game where it actually fits in more nicely. I'm sure there's at least a boss that, Oh, never mind, you guys don't even have to tell me what boss to use it on, because I know the very one we're going to use it on. In fact, I think it's going to be the next one that we fight. And, that was the Phil Cup, everybody. There were some close calls, as you saw, but as long as you have Cure ready, and don't use it haphazardly, and only when you're in danger, make sure to roll, you can prevail over the toughest challenges yet. Isn't that the most inspirational thing you've ever heard? And also we get a new spell, Gravity. I need to explain what Gravity does, as well as Arrow, because they're both kind of weird. Okay, Gravity. It's great against, flying foes, because it'll bring them to the ground in addition to doing a lot of damage, and then it stuns them, letting you finish them off. Gravity also just does an insane amount of damage to standard enemies, all across the board. So, if you're a magic user, Gravity will easily be your greatest asset, and it will just wipe out hordes of the strongest enemies, really without much of a problem. The one drawback to that is that if you're a magic user, beware! Gravity is very ineffective against bosses and mid-boss type enemies that have more than one standard green health bar. And fortunately, you're going to run into a lot of instances like those. Arrow is just for a little bit more defense. Anyway, what just happened is I cut ahead, we went to the warp hole. It's not like an actual world. Instead, what happens is you're going to find this thing. Somewhere around the route. What you're going to have to do is get close to it and go through it, and it'll warp you to a different section of the map. What happens here is you're just going to have to sail to the end until you reach the actual world. And in this case, the world is Agrabah. It's going to be the first of the Ring of the New Worlds, so we're going to start it next episode. See you then.